Hello everyone, welcome to the second round of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship here from the Slovakia ring in glorious sunshine, I'm happy to say, Louise.
It is absolutely lovely. We can feel it rising here on the grid though. It's getting very, very toasty, so it's going to be an interesting one on the old tyres, I think, around this one, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. This circuit is a bit of a tyre killer. There's a lot of long radius corners. It's a very long circuit, of course, but yeah, with the added temperature today, it's going to be quite the challenge, isn't it? But we've gotten a bit familiarised with the circuit ourselves this weekend so far, haven't we?
We really have. I got my first ever ride with Bradley Smith around the circuit, which was absolutely awesome. I actually can't describe how fast we were going and how awesome it was to be in that truck, but so great to experience it and, you know, feel exactly what they're feeling as they go round, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the key things with these trucks is they are still 5-ton racing machines. They are 1,200 horsepower, but there's still a lot of weight for them to push, and you really feel it, don't you, when you get onto the brakes into all the corners. You sort of sit there thinking, please brake.
Yeah, that's it. And the sound is beautiful. You're like, oh, yeah, we are going around that corner. There's a little bit of a squeak there.
Yeah, absolutely. They make a lot of squeaks, whistles, and I mean, the tyres scream for mercy around a lot of the long corners. A lot of the right-handers around here really put a lot of pressure on that front left. It's very, very difficult to get right round here. But yeah, it was an interesting qualifying session. It wasn't the most chaotic we saw, but once again, Norby's on top.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the question is just the end of the weekend, isn't it? Who is going to beat Norbert? We don't know. No. It's got to be. It's all to play for, isn't it?
It absolutely is. Mark Taylor got a really good qualifying performance as well. He's going to start 5th on the grid today, fastest in the Chrome class. Bradley Smith going well as well. We've seen Bradley have quite a start to the season, haven't we?
It is, absolutely, yeah. It's very exciting, and he's in a new truck himself as well, isn't there? There's a few new trucks on the grid, I think, isn't there? So everyone's getting used to it, but I feel like it's really starting to kick in now, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, speaking of new trucks, you know, Louis Requenco, one of the key drivers to think about. As you can tell, as Norby gets to the grid, there's quite a fanfare for him and his team. They love him here in Slovakia. Obviously, it's not much of a drive for them, is it, coming over from Hungary?
No, that's exactly it. We've seen so many fan T-shirts coming round, which is it's really lovely to see as well. Like walking down the paddock as well, lots of people with their phones out taking photos, and I think that just shows the community behind all of this and the truck racing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We don't just say one truck family for no reason. You know, it is really a massive family here, and everybody supports everybody, and I think that's one of the best things about it. And it's one of the things you pointed out already, isn't it? You know, everyone's so friendly, aren't they?
I feel so at home. Literally, I feel like you've introduced me to everybody, and it is like one big family, and they welcome you in with open arms as well. And I feel like, hey, I'm in the truck racing community now. It's nice. It's a nice feeling.
Very much one of the family.
Absolutely.
But this first race of the weekend is really going to set the tone, actually, because it's quite a challenging circuit in terms of attrition. So a lot of the trucks can very often get not damaged, but it really wears the trucks out over the course of the weekend. So there's a lot to look at and a lot to think about. And what we will do, though, is have a quick throwback to a chat that I had yesterday with the wonderful Franz Stylberg. He's getting a lot of airtime this year so far,
It's his debut, really, isn't it? It's him. He's going to be presenting next.
Technical delegate of the FIA. I had a good chat with him yesterday about what keeps the drivers and these trucks so safe in this world of truck racing. I'm here at the Tankpool 24 awning with the wonderful Franz Stylberg, technical delegate of the FIA. Franz, good to see you for another race weekend, of course. We wanted to talk to you about the safety features of these wonderful machines. Obviously, they are huge. There's a lot of weight behind them, a lot of inertia. A lot needs to be done to keep these things safe, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Obviously, we need to keep them safe. We need to keep the driver safe, we need to keep the spectator safe and the whole event safe. So safety is a very big priority from the FIA to make sure nothing goes wrong. I will run you through a few safety features on the truck itself, then we'll look at a bit of safety equipment for the driver as well. Yeah. Some people will recognize it from normal circuit sport, which this is as well, but it is obviously truck racing. If we look at the driver's compartment, you see a window net. That's probably pretty known as well in GT racing. It helps to confine the driver's arms in case of an accident, you know, when you see these lightweight doors coming off or anything like that, or at least any debris coming in as well. So we'll just take that out of the way. And then we can see another safety feature, obviously, is the roll cage, purpose-built roll cage. So these roll cages are built to a standard which is defined in the regulations. So the race truck manufacturers can build them themselves, and we then obviously check them. We check the sizes, look at the welds, look at the mountings, and then verify it with a hologram sticker from the FIA to make sure that the normal scrutineer who does not have the knowledge sees that they have been properly checked. Full roll cage goes to the whole side. It's very, very stable, very strong to keep obviously the shape of the cabin in case of a rollover or anything like that. Very important. For the driver itself, driver seat, you can see here a homologated seat from the FIA, has to be in spec as well. Seat belts, same thing again as normal circuit sport as well, homologated from the FIA. Very important is the mounting. You know, all the safety features like seats, belts, anything like that are no good if they don't mount them properly. So that's something we look at as well. We don't look only at the tag, so we make sure that they're mounted properly as well, that they can work properly. In general, then obviously there's a few safety features on these trucks. We have a fire extinguisher as well. It's a handheld one because the engine sits behind. We run on HVO. It's not methanol or a normal fuel, so it's not really that burnable. Onwards from here, we go to the driver safety equipment
with our lovely volunteer Stefan Fast joining us. Stefan, how are you?
Good, fine, and you?
Very good, thank you. Very good.
Right, we'll explain a bit, and it's the same system as it is in all circuit racing within the FIA. Obviously, Stefan has to have an FHR or a Hans device, FHR front handle. And that was the end of the one taker. Okay. So Stefan has to have an FHR, as it is in all other circuit sports as well, and that is homologated by the FIA as well, and obviously then a helmet which will accommodate the FHR and has a certain standard as well. He has now, for bright sunlight, he has a different visor, but these visors are part of the helmet as well. Then he wears a balaclava under the helmet, same as all his underwear, has to be fire protective, and then obviously the fire suit itself, if we turn them around, you can see as well homologation which is needed, which is checked, and it goes all the way down to the boots as well, racing boots. So safety, main priority, very important for us, and I have to say the drivers understand it as well. They want to stay safe and use everything as well.
I think one of the key things is that obviously a lot of the elements and parts are homologated by the FIA, but you still need to trust these guys with building the trucks as well to that certain standard. So it's good to see it go hand in hand. I imagine it's quite rewarding from that side.
Yeah, it is rewarding, and obviously we have in the regulations, for instance, we have a two-circuit brake system with the air brakes, and it happens sometimes that you have an impact and you lose an air tank, or the air tank gets damaged, so then you lose one circuit. In that moment of time, there is a light which is required by the regulations which comes on to indicate to the driver then, oh, my brake system is not 100% anymore, I can't go full anymore, and that's something we check, but we always find out that it's in everybody's interest to make sure these safety features work, so that's very good. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for your time and showing us around this. Stefan, thank you for being a part of it as well, and yeah, we look forward to seeing how the weekend goes on, but thanks again.
Perfect, thank you very much.
There we go. The safety is obviously so important, so it's interesting to know what happens behind the scenes. And we did chat as well. We have been chatting with a lot of the teams as we have gone over, and in Misano and here in Slovakia, a little bit about what does go on behind the scenes. So it's really interesting to see there's so many roles. As you can hear, there is a plane flying overhead showing some absolute moves. I have to say, what a great way to bring in race one. And of course, the grid is getting absolutely rammed at the moment. Everyone is having a little walk down and getting into the atmosphere. I think it's going to be a really exciting day. It's going to be a very exciting race as well. And as you can see, the fans as well, you could hear the fans a little bit further down. They were absolutely loving it. They're very excited for old Norbert Kish as well. So it's going to be an interesting race, I think. But the heat is definitely rising right now. I am getting very warm, and I think a lot of people are as well. I can only imagine what it's like for the drivers in the trucks as they go round as well. But this plane is absolutely, I think it's just finished. It's always coming back again. It's coming back on its round. What a great display though. I think there's so much, that's the beautiful part of it, is there's so much going on, and I think the noise and the actual atmosphere is always just rife at this. So this is my first time in Slovakia on the Slovakia ring as well, so I'm just taking it all in and seeing how it is going. But yeah, it's very interesting. Everyone is absolutely loving it right now. But I think we are almost ready to start as well, which is very exciting. Everyone seems to be ready on the grid, and lots of photos are getting taken as well. Lots of people walking up and down. We'll have to get them all off shortly, of course. But I think it's going to be a really good race, and we'll have to see after the qualifying how it's all going to go. But we'll have to keep our eye out and see what is going to happen. But if you have been on the paddock today, and there's been lots of fans, I hope you've had a lovely time walking up and down, and it's been absolutely lovely. So yeah, I will be back with you very shortly. Don't go anywhere. Lovely. Welcome to the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. I'm Louise Schofield here on the grid. Now the Slovakia ring is kicking off right now. There is a plane doing an absolutely wonderful display. We are getting ready to get started into race one. But first, I thought before we do, we're going to have a quick chat for Louis Requenco. And see, this is obviously his first weekend here. He wasn't here back at Misano. So, Louis, how are you feeling? Are you excited for today? So you're back here?
Bueno, venga, vamos. Bien, bueno, vamos a empezar el campeonato hoy en esta carrera.
¿Cómo?
Vamos a empezar en el campeonato esta carrera.
¿Y qué tal te sientes?
Muy bien, fenomenal.
He's really happy to be starting the race here, and because he wasn't able to come to Misano, he's really looking forward to it. Beautiful, and you're in a brand new truck as well. How is it to get the truck around the Slovakia ring?
Sí, está muy bien. La verdad es que, bueno, lo nuevo es nuevo, está claro, muy bueno, sí.
He's really happy, he's really enjoying the new truck with all the new characters and everything, so he's really happy to be back and to enjoy the new truck.
Thank you so much, and best of luck. Thank you very much. There we go, there we have it. Oh, it's getting started. Chaz, right back to you.
Thank you very much, Louise. Thank you indeed to Carmen Solis as well from the FIA for taking time out of her busy schedule to come and translate for us with Louis Requenco. It's always worth having a chat to him. He may not speak all the English in the world, but we find a way. As you can see, the wonderful little stunt aircraft doing some fantastic manoeuvres at the moment over the Slovakia ring. Being a massive aviation nerd, I'm a bit gutted that I'm no longer outside on the grid to go and enjoy that, but I can hear it out of the window, and it's great to see that it remains part of the fixture here. It's been here for a couple of years now, this same display by the same aircraft. As you can see, it is doing some fantastic tricks here. A lot of stall turns and a lot of very low G manoeuvres. It's a very agile piece of kit. Looks similar to something that's known as an Extra 300, which is a rather small stunt aircraft, but it seems like it's a little bit more of a sort of older model. Can't quite identify it, unfortunately. I do know my aviation quite well, but yeah, I'm stumped on this one. Another slow manoeuvre here as he goes right up to the top of this climb. The engine will stop being able to pull the aircraft upwards, and it just lets itself float back down. As is the aerodynamics, it can very quickly catch itself again once the air starts flowing quickly over the wings. It's a lovely part of the weekend. It really adds to the display here. But it's really good fun, and as Louise mentioned, it's a very busy grid and it's very packed near the front of the pack, and there's a lot of people here to see one man in particular, and he's driving a big red MAN, and he's on pole position for this first race. His name is Norbert Kish, and Louise is down by his truck right now.
There we go. It is a very bustling bit here. Norbert Kish has got all his fans with him right now. Norbert, just a quick chat. How are you feeling? And the pole setter, of course. How's it going?
Yeah, so far so good. At least we are in pole position, but the lap was not good. Not happy about the grip. After Misano here also the grip feels very low and very difficult to drive. So, you know, it wasn't the lap of my life, but okay, it was enough. We are here on pole position, and yeah, you know, try to make the most of it.
And is it a little bit better than Misano? Because I remember in Misano you did say it was a little bit slippy in Misano.
Yeah, same here, very slippy. really hard to figure out what's going on. But I guess not just for us, but I guess everybody's struggling a bit with the grip because, I guess we are still in front.
And the longest circuit of the season as well. Does that mean you need to get prepared for anything in particular when it's the longest?
Well, I mean, it's less laps, so the distance is the same after all. But Slovakia ring is very special for sure, it's very challenging to drive, very hard on the tires with these long, fast turns are very hard on the tires. So I guess, you have to manage your tires for sure.
Absolutely. Well, Norby, I'm going to let you get back to it because all your fans here, which is lovely. So, best of luck and race 1, let's go. Thank you very much. All right, there we have it. We're getting ready for race 1, guys. I'm going to hand back over to Chaz now to get you ready.
Thank you very much, Louise. Always good to hear from Norbert Kish. Fantastic to see how many people there are on the grid here. And as we've mentioned, it's not much of a drive over from Hungary to the Slovakia ring, so a number of the fans out here to support him. No home race for Norbert Kish, unfortunately. But now we're going to have a look, I believe, at the circuit map and see just how big this circuit is. We have 14 corners. And it is, well, a humongous circuit, to say the least. It's nearly 3 minutes a lap here. 2 minutes 49 was the pole position time, roughly. Let's have a look at the track layout itself then. Here at the Slovakia ring, humongous circuit, nearly 6 kilometers in length. Only 14 corners, though it certainly looks like there's a lot more than that as the circuit doubles back on itself a couple of times. But you can see that the air temperature is 24 degrees at the moment. Definitely feels like more than that right now. And despite how flat it is here at the Slovakia ring, there is nowhere near as much wind as we would have expected. It's only 5 kilometers an hour at the moment. Sounds a bit more drastic than it is. But yeah, I think it's very interesting to see how quickly the weather conditions change time and time again. 10-minute board has been shown on the grid and everybody will be asked to clear the way. This is how the grid will be. Norbert Kish on pole position, a 242.9, sorry, not a 249.2. It was Jochen Hahn with a 243.0, just under 0.2 of a second back. Sasha Lenz will be happy to start from third on the grid, ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez or more, alongside him on the second row of the grid. Mark Taylor has his best qualifying so far, with Antonio Albacete starting from 6th position. Bradley Smith will start 7th alongside Steffi Halm on row 4. Then it's Louis Requenco and Stefan Fass on row 5. John Newell will start in 11th place alongside Luke Garrett. And Clemens Hecker will start in 13th. And René Reiner did not make it into qualifying earlier on. He had a gearbox change that they needed to do. You can see him just at the bottom of the shot there. He will be back in this race. He has to basically apply to the stewards to be able to race after they've had such a big change. So he's been given the go-ahead. Now that the gearbox has been changed, they have determined that the fix is safe and it's all golden and that he can race on with that new gearbox. And it's going to be exciting to see how he comes through the order from the back of the grid. But as you can see, so many people flooding their way off the grid here at the Slovakia ring. It's an immensely wide circuit. It's very, very interesting. It's one of the more unique tracks that we go to around the world. There are our flag bearers at the front of the grid. You can hear all of the sirens and noises going on the grid as everyone is asked to leave. And the whistles, they like the whistles here at the Slovakia ring. I can tell you the marshals have got whistles on whistles. Lots of them. But it's beautiful to see all these lovely drone shots that we're going to have throughout the weekend. And it's trucks 1 and 2, positions 1 and 2 for this first race of the weekend. There's one of the staff here with his bright orange whistle, ready to tell everybody to get off the grid. It does take time, though. It takes a long old while to get everybody all the way down this start-finish straight. The grid slots are really wide and far apart, so all the rows are a bit further forward from one another than we have at other circuits on the calendar. But it's 3:25 in the afternoon here in Slovakia, and it's amazing to think that we're only just now getting to race 1. It's crazy how quickly the day goes by when qualifying starts around lunchtime rather than in the morning. And the 5-minute board, as you could see, was on the ground there. Our cameraman Pearly saying, no, not quite yet. not quite 5 minutes before we get started. The flag bearers waving them about a bit, making sure that they're not getting stuck in the wind. But as you see now, much less staff on the grid. There's Tim Frost speaking to Franz Stahlberg from the FIA. Franz has been quite the superstar so far. Lovely to see Tony Albacetti here. Antonio's son is on the circuit as well. He arrived on the Friday. He was testing the truck actually back in Most in the middle of April with all of the pre-season testing that was going on. And he really enjoyed it, but it's a lot of a different machine to get used to. He races in a Toyota GR86 over in Spain at the moment, and obviously very different to a 5-ton racing truck. The GR86 is almost a GT4 spec car. GT4 is also a category that we have here this weekend at the Slovakia Ring. We're sharing the track with some very interesting races. I thought that woman was carrying a massive vase there, but it was actually a megaphone. I wondered, I've seen some interesting things be brought onto a grid, but I was wondering why someone would bring a vase with them. Right now, though, you can see the heat haze. And as Louise rightly mentioned earlier on, the heat is rising from the circuit. The track is getting very, very hot here. There's no cover for it absolutely anywhere. There's no hiding from the sunlight here at the Slovakia Ring. You can see the drone flying overhead as well. It's lovely to have the drone here this weekend. It really does add to the amount of angles and access that we can get, even during the races as well. As long as the drone isn't perfectly over the circuit, they can fly it around a lot of the corners and hang it on the exit of a number of them, so they can get some great low shots and great high shots all at the same time. There is the Slovakian flag at the front of the order with the European flag as well, and of course the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship flag as well. 5-minute board is shown, and all the drivers will now prepare. The final personnel are asked to leave the grid, and there is the Iveco S-E-Way pace truck. Beautiful machine will lead us away in just a few minutes' time. I'm very excited to see actually how the racing specification Ivecos look. Obviously Jochen Hahn, Steffi Halm, Lucas Hahn as well, all running those Ivecos. Not as many of them on the grid anymore, and now that Don't Touch Racing aren't running one. Obviously Don't Touch Racing left the championship. They used to run an Iveco. But it's interesting to see just how those new ones will look based on the latest iteration of the Iveco S-E-Way. But right now it's Norbert Kish starting on pole position, ready to go. And he's just going to be trying to get in the zone. We know that he's very good in the first and third races of the weekend. That's his usual stomping ground to take race victories. And we know that he will definitely be doing so. If he just keeps it tidy, that is. You can see a lot of doors open on the trucks just to try and let any form of air in there. You don't want the cab to just be getting hotter and hotter. An interesting look at Louis Requenco's machine there. You can see the asymmetrical livery on that truck. There's a lot more white on the right-hand side of the door, but on the left-hand side it's quite the opposite. So they've got a very interesting design on that machine. There's John Newell starting much further down the order than he was hoping to. And then, of course, Clemens Hecker starting at the back of the grid on the right-hand side in 13th position. 14 trucks in this race, 3-minute board is shown. And now the trucks will fire up and the personnel will head off the grid. Whistles being blown absolutely everywhere. Just waiting now for the final staff to be removed from the grid. A lot of Norby's team all stay on the grid very late into the session. Louis Requenco's squad and Brandon there as well. Brandon is an absolute riot. It's been great to see the team back again, but also lovely to see Brandon in particular. He's a good friend of mine, really lovely guy, always has good fun on these race weekends, really loves his job. There is the MAN of Norbert Kish. I love this angle. I love what we're able to get here with the drone this weekend. I will continue to bang that drum as well. It is fantastic to have it. A real treat for us in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. You could see out of the group there, actually, for a moment, we had Jose Rodriguez, Jose Eduardo's father. He used to race with us just a couple of years ago. I'm pretty sure as well I've seen Eduardo Rodriguez, his grandfather, here on the same race weekend too. It's a family business in a lot of respects, is truck racing. It was one of the things that Louise and I were talking about as we walked through the paddock this morning. There's a lot of family ties to the businesses and obviously the drivers as well. It's great to see it being passed down from generation to generation. A number of the times throughout the season we'll have the young drivers category as well, when we have a couple of them all together. Usually it's Bradley Smith, Lucas Hahn and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. It's just the two of them here this weekend though, with no Lucas Hahn taking part. But now the grid much quieter than it was just a few minutes ago. And the siren is sounding once again, and the 1 minute board is now shown. And that will be the very last people off the grid. Included that staff member herself, who now sprints back into the office to fulfill the duties. In fact, actually, she's going up onto the gantry to fly the flag. It's a very cool vantage point there in that gantry as well. There's a lot of marshals always up there. There was a good 4 or 5 of them throughout the practice sessions earlier on in the day. And there, the 30-second board shown for the final marshal on the grid. And now it is time to get race 1 of the weekend underway here at Slovakia. Very excited to see what this has in store, but leading us away is the Iveco S-E-Way, the official pace truck of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Iveco, a major partner of the series, and Iveco themselves are one of the main players in the global transport sector. They've established a global presence on the world stage as a manufacturer and a commercial provider in some of the most important industrialized countries and emerging markets all over the world. And we are very lucky here in the championship to have the Iveco S-E-Way. And it is a fully electric pace truck that we have here. It's great to have it as a part of our paddock. The silent machine that it is. It's great that it's got a number of the tracks and track maps up on the side of the design as well. They've really gone to town on the design for this year. It looks wonderful. It's very, very cool. I can see definitely on the left-hand side of it the layout here at the Slovakia ring. We've also got the Nürburgring as well, and Zolder. Here is your grid then. Norbert Kish on pole position once again, just 0.2 of a second ahead of Jochen Hahn, but 13 championships between the two drivers on the front row. It's pretty remarkable. Sasha Lenz will have a smile on his face, so too will Jose Eduardo Rodriguez after a solid qualifying from both of them to get them on the second row of the grid this time. Mark Taylor, his best qualifying so far, he'll start 5th on the grid. Antonio Albacete will maybe be a little bit disheartened after how that one went, starting 6th. Bradley Smith will start in 7th place. He's got Steffi Halm alongside him on row 4. Row 5, Louis Requenco and Stefan Fass completing the top 10 drivers. Apologies if you can hear the massive air compressor that is going on behind us here in the garages. It's very loud right now. John Newell is in 11th place. He's got Luke Garrett alongside him on row number 6. Both of them hoping to move further forward in the order. And the same can be said about the final row of the grid as well. Clemens Hecker starting in 13th place, René Reiner in 14th place. A gearbox change for him between the beginning of qualifying and the end of it meant that he then had to basically ask permission to race in this first race of the weekend here in Slovakia. But as you see, it's a very picturesque circuit. It's very flat. There's not a huge amount of facilities or sort of grandstands or anything in the middle of the circuit. It's very much like an arena where you go around the outside, like around the perimeter, and then back in around on yourself again, time and time again. Almost like a big karting circuit. But the Iveco S-E-Way leads us around. It's a lovely looking machine, being driven by one of the representatives here at Iveco. Oh, thank goodness for that. The massive air compressor in the garage has stopped now. Thank goodness. Obviously, part and parcel of sharing the circuit for the weekend with numerous other racing series. We are in garages with a lot of TCR cars, GT cars. There's even Formula 4 here this weekend as well. and GT3 in particular, which is always exciting to see. But yeah, apologies for the noise. Obviously, we have our races, they have theirs. We can't stop them also doing their work over the course of the weekend. But hopefully it adds a bit of atmosphere to what you're hearing here this weekend from the Slovakia ring. But the pace lap is a very long one as well. Our races do take a mighty long time here because of this almost 5-minute pace lap. It's very impressive. It's nearly 3 minutes a lap at racing speed. It's nearly 5 minutes here with the pace truck at the front. There you can see the final couple of trucks in the order. René Reiner in the blue MAN will very, very much be hopeful for some early places. But Norbert Kish, starting on pole position, will want a clean getaway here. He had a bit of a rough time at Misano in race number 3. Contact with Jochen Hahn in the opening laps gave him a puncture, which meant that he couldn't race at full chat throughout the entire race. He was held back slightly from being able to defend himself much. But you can hear from the pit lane, you can hear the trucks having a good old rumble into the final corners now. And I'm happy to say that we have one of our cameramen in the pit lane right now who is ready to catch the reaction from all of the engineers as they shout go and tell everyone to get shifting. What the drivers tend to do is, as they head up towards the start-finish line, they will hold down the throttle, they'll build up the boost, they'll get the turbocharger spooled, they'll hold on the brakes and prepare to get going, then they'll release the brakes, go full on the throttle, and that will be that. So as they move towards the line, you will very often see the drivers holding the brakes. You'll see the brake lights on. There are the engineers ready to go. You can see Tim Frost in the background there, ready to shout. And the first race of the weekend in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship is away, and straight off the bat, Jochen Hahn moves all the way over to the right to try and defend from Sascha Lenz. Sascha clearly getting a good start from the second row of the grid. Norby tries to move all the way over as well and say, please don't try it, sunshine. Sascha Lenz clipping the grass slightly there. Antonio Albacete around the outside. Can he make it work through there? Jose Eduardo Rodriguez is in the inside line, moving now to the outside line. Bradley Smith trying to get past Steffi Halm. Steffi trying to get past Antonio. There's a little bit of shuffling and movement around in the mid-pack, but everybody keeping it tidy. Norbert Kish leads them down to turn 2. Sascha Lenz holds 3rd place, but for 5th place, it is now Mark Taylor, side by side with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. The two of them teammates in 2026, so they definitely don't want to be making any form of contact with one another. Looks like René Reiner has already gotten ahead of Clemens Hecker off the start, and now he's trying to pick his way past Luke Garrett as well as they go up over the top of the hill. Hard on the brakes, they go into turn 3. Big braking zone here. Lovely to get an idea of just how far into the braking zone they go from the drone shot. Mark Taylor's going to clear Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. He's got his mentor, Antonio Albacete, right behind him. Now Bradley Smith gets shut out completely there by Steffi Halm. She closes the door through the right-hander. And look at the dust cloud there. It's terrifying. They have to drive all the way through that, not knowing what's on the other side of it. All it takes is for one truck to just clip the inside there and kick that dust up slightly. Oh, Jochen Hahn had a big slide there, chasing down Norbert Kish into that middle sector of the lap. They come now into turn 8. Left-hander in that hairpin. There is a lovely shot from the infield. Bradley Smith down the inside of Stefan Fass. Stefan actually trying to move up a position, and he has done. He's round the outside of Bradley, and he's going to hold on to that position by the look of it. It looks like at the moment Clemens Hecker struggling to keep up the pace and make any positions at the back of the pack. But it's Norbert Kish, Jochen Hahn, Sascha Lenz, Mark Taylor, the top 4. Taylor will be over the moon with that. If you listen carefully, you can hear Alan Taylor smiling from here. A lot of pressure there from Antonio Albacete with Steffi Halm just behind. A bit more of a queue after that battle between Stefan Fass and Bradley Smith. Now Fass is past him. Wonder whether he can move forward. Requenco there, just in front of René Reiner. He's now moved ahead of John Newell. It's actually Luke Garrett that's at the back of the pack. Apologies, thought it was Clemens Hecker that had really struggled to get the pace in the opening lap, but no, he's ahead of Luke, so Luke's had some sort of issue somewhere. Now as they all head around the final corner, tyres squealing the front left really, really punished around a lap here at the Slovakia ring. It's Norbert Kirch leading Jochen Hahn, nearly 3/4 of a second the gap to begin with. Sasha Lenz in third position from Mark Taylor in fourth. Then it's Jose Eduardo Rodriguez with Antonio Albacete in sixth. So he's remained where he was. The only change inside the top six, Mark Taylor moving ahead of the Portuguese driver in truck 38. Small gap there between Steffi Halm and Stefan Faas. He's ahead of Bradley Smith, Louis Requenco, René Reinert not quite able to make it through yet. Loads of dust being kicked up on the inside. I did mention that it was going to be quite a problem at some points, the amount of dust that we have here at this circuit. I remember in previous seasons it was absolutely nuts how much dust there was. And by the end of the race there was just a permanent dust cloud over the circuit. Everybody remaining single file for now. Looked like Steffi Halm has had a little bit of contact in the opening lap, because all of a sudden she has lost the left rear wheel arch cover. You can see it there actually. The white bodywork has disappeared from over the top of the tyres, so that's been pinched and flung off somewhere. So hopefully they can find that and get it back, because if it's not too badly damaged, then they're able to at least stick it back on the truck. Not quite with glue, but you know what I mean, with bolts, rivets and all sorts. Mark Taylor now under pressure from Jose Eduardo Rodriguez as they come out of the very difficult right-hander at turn 6 to the left kink at turn 7 and the hairpin at turn 8. They really have to be careful of balancing the weight over that front axle. Looks like Antonio just isn't able to get any grip at the moment. He said, and Tim said, that he was feeling a lot more confident at the start of this season. Tim did say that he had new toys to play with, so he was certainly enjoying being able to have the confidence in the truck and really throw it around. But look at that queue forming now behind Mark Taylor. They really are in there. It's not necessarily that Mark is slower than any of them, it's just they're able to just follow him so closely and really keep fighting. René Reinert now ahead of Louis Requenco. He moves up inside the top 10. Don't forget that the top 8 from this first race get reversed on the grid for race number 2. So 8th position is very, very important here. Stefan Faas currently running 8th, and he's got a bit of a gap back to Bradley Smith as well. A bit of dust being kicked up there into the final corner from Requenco and Newell. But there is the massive pack that we have here. Taylor ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. John Newell moving in front of Louis Requenco. The Mercedes loses more ground. He's got a lot more to get used to in this new truck. But Norbert Kish continues to lead. He's not bolted away as we've seen him do in the past. That's 2 laps completed out of 8 here. So we're on to the 3rd lap of the race. You can see a number of the trucks all very dusty already after just the opening 2 circulations, and there's a little bit more dust to be stuck to Stefan Faas's beautiful Freightliner. But it's Norby from Jochen right now, with Sasha Lenz running in 3rd. And as they head over the top of the hill, René Reinert, you can see there, trying his very best to keep the truck behaving itself. That left rear tyre didn't look too fully inflated, did it, actually, on René's truck? As you can see in the bottom right of the screen, you can now, by scanning that QR code, watch the One Truck Family documentary that's available from the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship over on YouTube. It includes yours truly as a narrator and a lot of Tim Frost, so if you enjoy Tim, you can look at his beautiful face for a bit longer and listen to him. But there's some great people in the documentary, and that's the point. It's absolutely wonderful to show off all these fantastic individuals that take part in the championship and make it what it is. And as well as that, make my job very easy. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, though, all over the back of Mark Taylor. There's a little lock up there into the hairpin down at turn 8. There's Stefan Faas, truck 24, trying to cling on to the back of this group. Importantly at the moment, though, he's in 8th position, which will give him reverse grid pole. So he's able to at least hold on and keep that, he will, well, potentially score big points in race number 2. A little bit of a lock-up there from Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. He goes straight on down at turn 10. Antonio Albacete nearly follows him, and now as they go through the weight transfer into turn 11, I wonder whether he's going to be able to completely hold that. He's all over the back of the Portuguese driver then. They go left through turn 12, up over the crest of the hill, and we've got a couple of quartets actually starting here. A few battles really starting to shape up. That will make Mark Taylor feel a lot more happy. He's a lot more comfortable now. He's got that breathing room between himself and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Now watch Antonio. He's going to go for the outside line here. Maybe break a little bit earlier. No, he's actually got an overlap, so he can't cut back underneath Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. He's just waiting to see how much of a good run he can get off the corner. The front left tyre really struggling around there. And it's so crazy now, having been around the circuit and know just how quickly they're going through that section. They look so much slower on TV around that corner. It looks so much more like they're just hesitating and waiting. And that is definitely not the case. Antonio moves out to the right slightly, tries to make sure there's no hot air going into the front of that truck from behind Jose Eduardo. Steffi Howell moved out a little bit to the right, and then they all filter back into position for the first corner. And once again, the quartet is resumed. At the front, it's Norbert Kish from Jochen Hahn. The gap is only just under a second at the moment. So Norby not disappearing as quickly as we've seen him do before. Jochen is keeping tabs on him at the moment. Sasha Lenz still running in third position. Looking at the previous lap times, there was only 1/10 of a second between Norbert Kish and Jochen Hahn. But right now we've got this great battle going on for 5th position. 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th, all very much being contested. And here is the battle at the front of it. Antonio Albacete trying to hold off Steffi Howell. There's that dust cloud again on the inside. You can just see it sort of erupt from the ground upwards and really engulf the circuit. You have to drive through this very thick cloud. It's quite scary as a driver because you never quite know what's on the other side of it. There's been, in the world of motorsport, there's been a few incidents in the past where there's been a dust cloud and a car, you know, spun the other side of it. Luckily for us, we don't have that here today. It's just simply the drivers clipping that as they go through turn 6. And you can see the way that the truck moves around there underneath Antonio Albacete. It really sits down on the exit of the corner. And it's all about managing the weight in these machines. As I mentioned before, his son Tony Albacete is here this weekend, and he was saying to me on Friday that it's all about the managing the weight and how it sort of leans over all 4 corners. You have to do so much thinking to drive these machines. It's not just a case of put it on the apex and be good on and off the throttle to make sure it's pointing the right way. You have to be good on and off the throttle to make sure that it's actually going to be able to put the power down and it's going to lean the weight into the right corner. John Newell has improved his position. He's up into 11th place now up to 10th actually ahead of Bradley Smith. It seems like Bradley Smith has lost a few places on this lap actually. He's lost a number of positions and now he's behind Clemens Hecker. So something has happened here to Bradley Smith. I'm just going to have a look at the sector times. It looks like Bradley Smith has had, oh yeah, he's had a slow second sector. 1 minute 28 for Bradley, whereas everybody else was in the 1:19s and 1:20s, which is crazy really because that's the length of a lap around some Grand Prix circuits for some of the world's fastest racing categories. But the middle sector alone here at Slovakia Ring is nearly 1 minute 20. But Bradley was, 8 seconds slower in that middle sector. So he's lost a lot of time there and a number of positions. He's now actually dropped down and he's coming into the pits. That's why he's gone right to the bottom. Bradley Smith in the pit lane. And I'm in a fortunate position to know our cameraman's just gone sprinting out the box to go and see what's up. A reminder that all of our trucks run on 100% renewable HVO diesel. So the racing is nice and green and clean, even though the dust around the track is definitely not. Some of the cars in the pit box behind us have just started up, so apologies if there's any noise. Because Bradley Smith has crossed the timing line again, he will actually show up further up the timing tower. So yeah, he'll be dropping down now as they go. Another reminder that you can watch the One Truck Family documentary, which is available now on YouTube, made by the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. It was absolutely joyous to be a part of it, and I'm still very honoured to have been a part of it. And if you get chance, it's an hour long, so if you get chance, I urge you to go and watch it, and you'll learn about a lot of the wonderful people here in the championship. And it's certainly a good way to learn more about truck racing and get on board with everyone that's involved. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez is getting involved with Mark Taylor at the moment, isn't he? The two of them are teammates in very different classes. We've got Chrome versus Titan, and Mark is not wanting to give an inch here as they go through the left-hander right together. It's going to be interesting now to see how they come up over the top of the hill. It's still Mark Taylor in front. He was able to carry the speed around the outside, able to defend the position for now, but Jose Eduardo starting to look a little bit more urgent here as they're going to soon head on to the 6th lap of this race out of 8. But Norbert Kish and Jochen Hahn breaking away. Sascha Lenz in a bit of no man's land in 3rd position at the moment, but Mark is defending very hard for that 4th place. It's not an overall podium position, but it is a Chrome class victory that is right on the lips. I can see from another one of our shots that Bradley Smith is sat in the pit lane. Unfortunately, doesn't look like he's going anywhere anytime soon. He's got his engineer Joe talking to him. He looks a little bit defeated. I'm not quite sure what the problem was, whether he's had an issue with the brakes or something, but yeah, unfortunately his race is no longer. Now Rene Reinert is up to 9th position here. There is the shot of Bradley talking to his engineer Joe. He's the only one that can understand Joe, to be honest. But we'll have to see what the issue is. I'm not sure if we've got Louise down there to have a word, but we'll find out and we'll see what happens. I'll try and speak to them between races, if not, and see if we can get a word. Bradley's always very good to give us his time and let us know what the problem is, if there is any. Steffi Halm still all over the back of Antonio Albacete, and I think my assumption before on Rene Reinert's left rear tyre was incorrect, because it looks similar on Antonio Albacete's as well. Looks like that left rear tyre very, very low. But it's obviously just a bit of an optical illusion right now. As we've got a battle going on here, though, I can tell you we've got Louise down with Bradley Smith, ready to have a quick word with the young man.
Bradley, what's gone on? What's happened?
Gearbox has gone.
Oh,
There's a bearing or something in the gearbox.
Oh no.
Just shuddering and yeah, making a horrible whining noise. So I thought it was a steering pump at first, but yeah, no, it's the gearbox.
Oh no. So what's the next steps? Are you just waiting?
Was that sorry?
What's the next steps? Are you just waiting now to see?
Yeah, we'll see if we can take you back to the paddock, not being part thermo, so we can start changing the gearbox, which we haven't got one. But
yeah, can't do anything. Oh.
See what we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, sorry to hear that, Bradley, and we'll let you crack on with that. Sorry to hear. There we go. Unfortunately, these things happen, don't they, on the grid? Back to you, Chaz.
Yeah, thank you very much, Louise. Yeah, it's a massive shame. You can hear Bradley clearly dejected there, and yeah, if they've not got a spare gearbox, then that may spell the end of their weekend potentially. But this is the One Truck family, and how many times have we seen other teams step in to lend one another a part, even if it's as big as a gearbox, and help one another out to make sure that we have a full grid of trucks. It's happened many, many a time. I remember lots of wonderful scenes like at Autodrome Most a few years ago. Antonio Albacete had a catastrophic engine failure in race number 3, and there was no less than 9 other teams helping them out to get the engine changed and get him ready for the final race of the weekend. It happened in the very final race of the season back at Jarama a few years ago as well. Steffi Halm blew an engine after a big incident in race number 3, and even though it was the very last race of the season and nothing was going to really change in the championship, there was 7 other teams helping out to ensure that she had that engine in and fixed and good to go before the final race of the championship. So certainly the One Truck family mantra is very adhered to when it comes to this part of the weekend when anybody has any technical troubles. There is Jochen Hahn, truck number 2, currently running his own race at the minute. He's dropped off slightly from Norbert Kish, now 1.8 seconds back. He was 0.7 of a second off on that previous circulation, so Norby now really starting to put the pace into effect. Now Sascha Lenz running in 3rd. Sascha has had 2 podium finishes so far this season. He's actually got more podiums than Jochen Hahn. Jochen 2nd in the championship though, due to that race win in race number 3 back at Misano. But right now, Steffi Halm and Antonio Albacete right together on the circuit. Steffi currently 7th in the championship. She had 14th place finish in race 1, so not the first race that she would have wanted. Antonio finished 8th in that race as well, so it was very much a topsy-turvy race. This is a bit topsy-turvy at the moment though, isn't it? Mark Taylor having a battle with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Antonio Albacete and Steffi Halm then right together, just behind that. So if anything happens with the battle in front, then it'd be very, very interesting to see if they can take advantage. I'm just more alarmed by that massive dust cloud every single lap. It just seems to be getting bigger and bigger. It's just engulfing so much of the circuit. But there is Mark Taylor as, oh dearie me, a 5-second penalty for Stefan Faas. Now that is going to change the complexion of this race right now, because Stefan Faas is in 8th position. He's got less than 5 seconds behind him to John Newell. So René Reiner and John Newell will both hop up a position into 8th and 9th if it stays as it is. John needs to stay within 5 seconds of Stefan to get that extra place. But what that does also mean is that for René Reiner, who, let's not forget, started this race at the very back of the grid after a gearbox issue earlier, would then start on pole position for race 2. There's a little squeeze down the inside by Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. It wasn't quite an MAN-sized gap down the inside at turn 10. Does a great job to back out of it just in time. Mark likes to close the door and say, no thank you, sir, but in Portuguese. He's actually got a little bit of bodywork hanging off that front right corner now, and Antonio Albacete will have seen that move, and he's going to try and capitalise on it into the final lap. Just 1 lap to go here in the first race of the weekend at the Slovakia ring. And it's Norbert Kish leading the way as the bodywork tries to detach itself from Jose Eduardo Rodriguez's truck. You can see it flapping around in the wind there. But the bodywork on these trucks all made of fiberglass, so it's made to absorb a bit of impact and a bit of energy. But there is your race leader, Norbert Kish. He's really turned the wick up now. He's absolutely flying. He was 2.5 seconds quicker than Jochen Hahn on that last lap. He's opened the gap from 1.8 seconds to 4.3. He has really turned it up now as Norby. It was almost like he was holding it in reserve for the rest of the race and saying, I'll give him a chance, I'll give him a chance, bye-bye. And off he goes over the crest of the hill. And it does seem like Jochen actually struggled a bit on that last lap because he was 1.5 seconds slower than Sascha Lenz, so Sascha has caught him as well. So it's not like Norby has gapped the entire field by that much. It's more a combination of him moving forward from Jochen and Jochen losing time to Sascha behind. But there's a massive train of them right now for 4th position. We've got Mark Taylor, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, Antonio Albacete, Steffi Halm, Stefan Faas and René Reiner all right with each other. Just as of right now, Stefan Faas is still less than 5 seconds ahead of John Newell, so John will move up into 9th place. He's way clear of Louis Requenco, so he doesn't have to worry about that right now. But Stefan Faas will lose a couple of positions based on that 5-second penalty, which is a huge shame, but it's part of how it is. It's overspeeding as well that he's been pulled up on, so that means he's been over the 160 kilometers an hour that is allowed by the championship. And right now, though, we have Norbert Kish heading into the final couple of corners. Turn number 10. You can see the truck really leaning over to the right-hand side. Sorry, that's turn 8, actually, that he's just exiting there. Now through turn 9, he'll go up over the crest of the hill, then head down towards turn 10. As Louise and I mentioned earlier in the day, fantastic section of the track when you're on board because you're going over the crest of a hill. You've got a downhill braking zone here into a very slow hairpin. You've got to try and hug that inside line as best you can. And Norby will now flick the weight transfer over to the right. And then over to the left through turn 12. And I'm sure the fans will be absolutely over the moon with this. Not long now for him to cross the line. And it will be job done for race number 1 for Norbert Kish. Just the final corner left to go. And he will be absolutely over the moon with this to get the next weekend off to a good start and extend his championship lead. It is Norbert Kish to take his 4th race win of the season in 2026. And the announcer here at the circuit giving it the big one, and the fans are loving it. Jochen Hahn finishes 2nd with Sascha Lenz in 3rd. Very good stuff for Sascha to get a podium to start his weekend. What about in the background? It is going to be, is it Jose Eduardo Rodriguez ahead of Mark Taylor? It is. There's been contact near the end. Wow, it is. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez takes it from Mark Taylor. Antonio Albacete is next up. Then it's Steffi Halm in truck 44. Stefan Fast finishes in 8th position. However, he is not 5 seconds clear of René Reinert and John Newell. So René Reinert will actually get 8th place. Then, sorry, 7th. Yeah, he will get 8th place. John Newell will be 9th. Stefan Fast will be classified in 10th ahead of Louis Requenco, Clemens Hecker, and then Luke Garrett will be the last finisher in this one. There he is crossing the line. Bradley Smith, unfortunately, not finishing that one. A very intriguing final part of the race there. A little switch of positions between Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Mark Taylor right at the end. I'd be intrigued to see how that came about. But there is your race winner, Norbert Kisch in the Revesz Racing machine. Jochen Hahn finishing in 2nd place. More championship points for him. Based on my very basic calculations at the moment, that will put Norby on 66 points, 9 points clear of Jochen Hahn. And then Sascha Lenz will get ever further clear of Antonio Albacete, who with that will now move ahead of Lucas Hahn in the championship. Lucas had that good a first weekend that he has been able to hold 4th position overall in the championship, which is great to see. Mark Taylor will take the win in Chrome. He'll be absolutely over the moon there. John Newell will have 2nd place, and Stefan Fast will still get a class podium. Louis Requenco not quite getting a podium on his debut with the new Mercedes. And Bradley Smith takes a big hit to his championship charge in Chrome. That will drop him down to 6th place now. Stefan Kerscher was leading the Chrome Championship after the first day in Misano. Is now down in 5th place as well. That will actually put John Newell to the top of the Chrome Championship, 54 points. 4 points clear of Lucas Hahn now. Mark Taylor in 3rd on 46. So it's very, very close. But John Newell now leads the Chrome Championship. He may not have had the best qualifying earlier on, but he'll be very pleased. But the podium in Chrome then, Mark Taylor, John Newell and Stefan Fast. John finishing ahead of Stefan after the time penalty is applied. There is Jose Eduardo Rodriguez with a bit of damage to the front left of his truck. And a little bit of a guilty mark there. Against Mark, funnily enough. We're really intrigued to see how the Chrome Championship continues to shape up, because, well, it's been entertaining so far, and it's always great to see the battles that take shape, because at the end of the day, you've got a number of drivers that are really fighting it out with a number of the Titan drivers, and they can sometimes spoil the party slightly. So it's not straightforward for the Chrome drivers to fight in their championship, especially if, I mean, we had Lucas Hahn back at Misano. He was finishing, you know, 2nd, 3rd, 4th in some of the races, and he was then numerous positions ahead of some of the other Chrome drivers. But yeah, because they were only in the same class, even if he was 2nd and let's say Bradley Smith was 8th, for example, overall, he would only gain a few points on him in Chrome because it was still 1st and 2nd. I hope that explanation made sense. It felt like it took me forever to get to the point. But Clemens Hecker there on his way into the pit lane. And there into the pit lane is your race winner, Norbert Kisch. Another win for Baloo Jr., the big red MAN. And he sounds the horn right outside the commentary box as well. The garage that you could just see on the right hand side there is where I'm sat, actually. I'm just the other side of that door, so it's lovely to see. And there is Sascha Lenz. He'll be really happy with the 3rd position, and Jochen Hahn will be pleased with 2nd as well. It's all round a very good podium. Mark Taylor takes the win in Chrome. You can just see the number 81 there in the background, and there is the door open on big red Baloo Jr. And Norby considers this his home round of the championship. And he's having a look at the tyres to see how worn they are. Fists in the air and a celebration with the team for Norbert Kisch. And the team will congratulate him. Csaba Bako there. We've got a recorded piece with Csaba about communication coming up later on in the weekend, which you'll see. We had really good fun filming with Csaba. He's so fantastic. A great communicator himself as well, and always very kind and caring to give us his time. There's Sasha Lenz, he's over the moon. There's a good mate of mine, Lucas Lesk, as well, walking over with him. Sasha gets a congratulations off his team. Norby's partner, Marty, there as well. And Jane as well. Jane and her partner there to congratulate Sasha on another podium. Fantastic. You love to see it. Sasha had a very difficult season last season, but this time round he's really switched it on early, and a congratulations to Norby. And we're going to have a quick word with Sasha. I think Louise is going to have a quick chat with him, and we'll find out his thoughts on that race. Down to Louise, I reckon.
Okay, so we have Sasha Lenz here, just going through everything. How was that for you, Sasha? Was it good?
Yeah, it was a good race, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You feeling good? Obviously, it's the first race of the weekend. Yeah. So, yeah, you feeling confident for the rest?
Congratulations. Yeah, I think so. We have a good speed. Yeah. We need a little bit more, and then it should be okay.
You ready to get covered in champagne for the first time as well this weekend?
Yeah, for sure. It's nice, you know. It's last weekend was a little bit different, but now it's really nice.
Well, there we go. I'm going to let you go to the podium, Sasha. Well done. See you later. Thank you. There we go. Sasha Lenz there, and the podium is obviously getting ready. So back to you, Chaz.
Thank you very much, Louise. Great to hear from Sasha. It's always lovely to see him in a good mood. Like I say, he had a very difficult season in 2025, so it's great to see that he's got things off to a good start here with 3 podiums out of 5 races so far, and 5th place being his worst finish of the season. Norbert Kish takes the win then, 6.6 seconds clear of Jochen Hahn. It was much closer up to that point, and then all of a sudden in the last few laps he just really turned it on. Jochen Hahn is second with Sasha Lenz in 3rd place. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez finishes that one in 4th, just ahead of Mark Taylor. I'm going to go and try and get a bit of a debrief on what happened there. Antonio Albacete finished in 6th. Just important to note as well, by the way, that Mark Taylor, of course, won in the Chrome class. Steffi Halm 7th, which means her and René Reinert will start together on the front row of the grid for race number 2. René will be so happy with that. Then it's John Newell in 9th place and Stefan Fass completing the top 10 positions. Louis Requenco finished 11th, not the debut he would have wanted for his new Mercedes. Clemens Hecker gained 2 places from Luke Garrett and the retiree Bradley Smith. It's a huge shame that Bradley has now been out of that race, and hopefully it's easy for them to get a gearbox back in it, and hopefully it's just something that they can fix with the gearbox. That's why Bradley didn't want to carry on. He didn't want to damage the gearbox any further, and he mentioned that they wanted to basically not ignore Parc Fermé because it's part of the regulations, but the ideal situation for them would be now they speak to the FIA, they say, look, we've got a major technical issue stopping us having the truck running. Can we spend this time now to fix it, basically, instead of having Parc Fermé where we can't touch the truck? Let's have a look at some highlights then from that first race of the weekend while our drivers make their way up to the podium. As you can see, the fans are out in force, and so is the sunshine here at the Slovakia Ring. It was once again Norbert Kish and Jochen Hahn starting side by side on the front row, with Sasha Lenz in 3rd place. Mark Taylor made his way past Jose Eduardo Rodriguez in the opening laps, and Antonio Albacete was sticking around to try and see if he could find any further opportunities. Same went with Steffi Halm as well, running in 7th position in the opening stages. Bradley Smith was running well inside the top 10, but unfortunately after a couple of laps he would go off circuit with that gearbox issue and be out of the race. But it was very clear that the initial battles we were going to have would be between Mark Taylor, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Antonio Albacete, while Stefan Fass was waiting in the background as well. A lock up there from Clemens Hecker lost him quite a bit of time, and a lot of dust was still being kicked up around the circuit. René Reinert was making his way through the pack as well, gaining place after place from some of the Chrome drivers, and eventually would find himself in the position to finish 8th after a penalty for Stefan Fass for overspeeding. A big shame for the Freightliner, which was going really, really well. A move here from Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and a little bit of contact with Mark Taylor. Eventually he would get through on the final lap, but it was Norbert Kish at the very front of the order doing the job right and taking his first race win of the weekend, his 5th race win of the season. Sorry, 4th race win of the season, my apologies. There's no point me building this very complicated spreadsheet only to get it wrong. So, the presentation is about to begin down at the podium. And they're going to start with the top 3. Sascha Lenz, 3rd position. This is for the overall podium. Jochen Hahn, and well, Jochen got drowned out there by the fans. Norby has, I think he's got a GoPro on his hat or something. Like I say, this is it's almost like a home race for him and the team. But he had some sort of small camera on the front of the cap there to capture the moment, which is lovely because they do a changing of the caps. We couldn't quite hear the Hungarian national anthem there, but you could definitely hear that siren. There is the trophy handed to Sascha Lenz. Lovely to see. 2nd place trophy goes to Jochen Hahn. Lovely trophies here at Slovakia Ring. Jochen very pleased to have more silverware added to the pile. And Norbert Kish gets his 1st place trophy. And as you can hear, with the amount of fans that we have here, they are absolutely over the moon. Interesting to have it that way round. Usually it's trophies first, then national anthem, but this is the joy of race weekends all around Europe. You get to have things done in different orders in different times. So now the drivers will have their pictures taken on the top step by the media. Oh, dearie me. Nicely done though, Sascha. Nicely placed next to the champagne bottle, almost as if he meant that one. And now they will change the caps. And Norby, like I say, with the, I think a GoPro on top of his hat to record the moment for him and his own team's media. And now it will be time to spray the champagne. And while they don't tend to spray each other during races 1 and 3, I imagine Norby is about to spray the fans nearby so he can celebrate. And yeah, Jochen's going to get in on the action as well. But they know they've still got race 2 coming up a little bit later on. And that's when they can really soak the fans and one another, of course, in celebration. Apologies for the noise here in the pit garage. Obviously, the other teams racing in the other championships here are preparing. So they have to get their cars ready as well. Like I say, we can't stop them doing their work. But that is your top 3 overall. And now we'll move on to the chrome podium as you see the champagne bottles being prepared very quickly. The champagne absolutely everywhere all over the floor. It'll dry up in no time with how hot it is here this afternoon at the Slovakia Ring. 3rd position, Stefan Faas. I think somebody needs to invest in a louder PA system for this podium, wherever they may be. John Newell, 2nd place. He'll be chuffed with that after a difficult qualifying session. And Mark Taylor takes the win in chrome. And a good return to form for him and the team. But like I said, John Newell, 2nd place. That puts him to the top of the Chrome Championship. And we unfortunately now, with all the noise, have a lot of cars heading out and a national anthem to listen to. And there we go, the British national anthem there for Mark Taylor, the winner in race 1 in the Chrome class. Trophies handed out 3, 2, 1. Stefan Fast, happy with his trophy. A bit of silverware for him and that lovely, lovely Freightliner. That being Stefan's second podium of the season. John Newell takes his 4th consecutive podium. He's not won a race in Chrome yet, but he's still top of the Chrome Championship. But Mark Taylor takes a class victory for the first time this season. He's actually, funnily enough, stood on each step of the podium once so far, 3rd, 2nd and 1st. But of course, dropping further down the order in the championship due to a DNF and an 8th place. Sorry, a 6th place and an 8th place so far this season. Now it'll be time to spray the champagne. Again, not on each other. I want to save some for later. But they spray towards the fans at least to show their appreciation. A lot of the fans travel a long way to come here to the Slovakia ring, and they can get really close access to the podium here, which is lovely to see. There they are actually along the fences, just outside the VIP area. There's John's wife and his young lad, and a number of the team members as well. Mr. Wood and his wife as well, they're a good laugh. Had quite the adventure getting lost in Madrid with them last season at the end of the year. But now everybody having a good time by the look of it. John giving away his Goodyear cap to one of Norby's fans. One of Norby's many fans, as you can see. Alan Taylor there with Mark, and Csaba Bacco in there too. They will also do the team's podium as well, where the team members will head up onto the top 3 steps. But Mark, as you can see, very happy to take a class victory for the first time this year. He'll hope to continue that form. But speaking of continuing form, we have Norbert Kish down there with Louise.
Here we go. All right, so we've got Norbert Kish. There we go, the first podium of the weekend. How do you feel?
Good, really happy. Good start, good race, quite clean, no mistakes. And yeah, so very happy about the win.
Absolutely. You said it was a bit slippy out there as well. Was it okay once you got going?
Yeah, grip is still not nice, not happy about it. Lap times are quite slow and the balance is a bit off. But it is what it is. We work and we maybe try to change something for the afternoon and test a little bit some other setup options to see if we can get some grip back.
Absolutely, and we've got so many fans here today. It must be so nice to have that.
Oh yeah, it's very nice. It's our home race. We are very close to Hungary. A lot of Hungarian fans are here. So yeah, really happy to driving in front of them and to have the win in front of them. It's awesome.
Great start to the weekend. Well, I'm going to let you go. You got your bottle of champagne, you got your trophy there, so I'm going to let you head off. Cheers, Norbert. Thank you so much. Cheers. All right, we have another interview for you. We got Jochen Hahn. Come on in, sir. How are you doing? How do you feel?
Hi. No, good. I feel very well. So it's the first time I can go the pace.
Yes.
But the last 3-4 laps I have a little problems.
Okay.
So I hope we can fix it and then we go again in the next race. And I enjoy it really. It's when it's possible to go the speed, to see I hold a little bit for the last 2 laps.
Yeah.
And then it's coming the gap.
Yes.
No, but it's good. He feels confident. So it's good.
So you're feeling good for race 2?
Yeah. Yes.
Look at that. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll see you in a sec. Thank you very much. Well, there you have it. There we go. Race 1 is in the bag. Now, make sure you stick around with us because at 5:10, we'll be back for the live broadcast. And you also will have a little look at some of the highlights as well and the overall standings. We'll catch you at 5:10. See you then.
Championship standings after the first race of the weekend. Norbert Kish now leads on 66 points, so I'm happy to say my maths was right. Jochen Hahn in second place on 57. Sasha Lenz in third. Antonio Albacete now moves up into fourth place ahead of Lucas Hahn, who of course is not here this weekend. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez in sixth position with Steffi Halm in seventh. Then it's Rene Reiner in eighth place, much like he was in that race actually, starting on pole position for race 2. Then we have Mark Taylor in ninth and Stefan Kirsch still inside the top 10 after a very successful Misano. Funny how it works though, Stefan is actually 10th in the championship overall, but John Newell is the Chrome Championship leader. He's 11th in the overall standings. Stefan Fast is 12th ahead of Bradley Smith and Jonathan Andre. Now we look at the Chrome standings as well, with John Newell, as mentioned, at the top of the pile. Lucas Hahn did that well in Misano. Even when he's not here, he's still just 4 points down. Mark Taylor is up into 3rd place now, ahead of Stefan Fass, with Stefan Kirsch in 5th. Then it's Bradley Smith 6th, Jonathan Andre 7th. Luke Garrett finds himself in 8th place, ahead of Clemens Hecker. Both of them having a tough start to the season. And Louis Requenco gets 10 points in his first race of the season. So I believe now we will be handing back down to Louise just to say goodbye.
There we go, and that closes race 1 for us. We'll be back at 5:10 for the live broadcast to bring you race 2. And now we've got some highlights for you.